Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing flight video brought to you by Out of Arc Gaming. As always, my name is Phil and today we have Game 6 of the Commentary Wars. We are now in the second half of the group stages. The points are starting to look quite interesting. Who will make it on top? Vying for that top position and the top seed for the semi-final rounds, we have with us today...
Hey everyone, it's Fergus here, the guy who whooped the floor with Phil here, which was very fun.
I mean, I thought we had an agreement that we weren't going to bring that up again. I mean, like the wound is still raw, my friend.
What was it, last week? The game came out.
Yeah,
the most recent one.
It was last week, so it's still very raw. But it was a good game. I mean, we were discussing it earlier, and you were saying about your Luke build, and I don't like it because it's very good. But I might have to give it a try at some point.
It's just a very good build. I mean, you can you can use it on Luke very well because he can do the action to repair shield and use the force for offensive and defensive parts. So Luke's just a great pilot.
Yeah,
I'm not bringing Luke today.
I mean, to be honest, X-Wings are they're good. They are just good. I mean, you can't really deny. I mean, the game is called X-Wing, so you kind of hope it. I mean, you didn't see much of them in first edition, but in second edition, they still see a lot of play, and they are pretty solid. And I mean, we do have one on the board today. So, speaking of what we have on the table, did you want to quickly run through your list whilst you guys are mucking about flipping them over on TTS?
That's the Quinn special. I think the first game I played with Quinn, he did that to all my stuff, and it was amusing. So yeah, I'm bringing Garvin Dreas in the X-Wing, a lot with just the S-foils, nothing fancy. In the Y-Wing, I've got Dutch Vander with Arthur Astromech and a dorsal turret, and then I've got two B-Wings. I've got 10 Num and Braylon Stram, both with auto blasters and the S-foil configuration. Pretty standard Rebel build, to be honest. Just all-round good ships that can punch hard and share tokens.
Yeah, I mean, Braylon and 10 are they're great B-Wings. I'm a big fan of those. Obviously, this game was played before the Phoenix L squadron came out, so no looking at Hera or any of the other pilots in there. But then again, when you've got 10 and Braylon, they're still pretty solid.
I feel like Hera's in the B-Wing is a bit of a false hope. Like, you see I6 and you see her ability and you think great. But then you look at the A-Wing and you think, that's 12 points cheaper or more. I would take that and have a cooler paint job, arguably.
Fair enough. It's each to their own. I mean,
they're both having an I6 B-Wing is still great.
I mean, definitely.
I would definitely try it out with some fun stuff on it.
Yeah, it'd be cool to see on the table at some point.
Oh, definitely.
But talking about what else we have on the table, we've got Quinn's list, also running Rebels. He's got Hera Syndulla with Nien Nunb to really open up those bank maneuvers. Suppressive Gunner, as we've seen, he's a big fan of that card. Hull Upgrade, Advanced Sensors, and the Ghost title. We also have Saw Gerrera in the U-Wing with Pivot Wing and Hull Upgrade, and Sabine Wren in the Phantom Attack Shuttle with Shield Upgrade, Mark Sable Closure, and the Phantom title. So a very star-studded Rebels lineup we have on the table today. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how this goes.
Lots of attack dice and lots of ways to modify them, which should be interesting.
Yeah, lots of modifications, lots of attack dice. Not very many defense dice, again, being Rebels, who definitely rely on being quite chunky. I mean, we look at it and Sabine is the lowest health ship on the board at 5 health. So...
by, I mean, recent standards with, I guess, seeing the TIE Interceptor and maybe some Tri-Fighters, that's quite high compared to those two.
I mean, that would normally be classed as one of the healthiest ships on the board in any other game.
Probably,
but in this one, obviously we have the pseudo-epic Ghost, which is just a huge ship with so much health, but it can be chewed through quite quickly. And I think I think looking at what you've got, you do kind of have the tools to chew through that quite quickly, especially with those stabilized S-foils and auto blasters on the B-wings.
They do give me a way to shoot it twice. I'm lucky. So,
yeah. Now, obviously, you wrote this list prior to knowing what Quinn was going to be bringing, but when you saw the ghost there, did you just suddenly think, right, the B-wings are going to be going for lunch there?
I think I was going for Saw first, because I think after James came in with his U-wing and just wiped my droids out, I think I sort of underestimate the U-wing, as I always see it as a support ship, but I think Saw Gerrera can do a lot of damage, and I think I'd rather get rid of Saw before the ghost gets damaged.
Yeah, because obviously Saw will be adding that extra die to the ghost, making that a 5 dice attack, which...
It's not an extra dice, it's a reroll.
Oh, yes, it's a reroll. I was thinking of another game of Quinn's where it was Wolf Warrow. Where it gets the extra dice, yeah. But still, allowing that extra reroll on a 4 dice attack is pretty scary. So it is going to be quite interesting. And yeah, the U-wing, I mean, I think one of the most surprising features about the U-wing is its 3 dice attack. You just don't expect that from that ship.
I always thought it had a 2 attack dice, which, I mean, it's still good. I mean, it's bare minimum, but it has 2 evade dice and 3 attack, which is surprisingly good compared to what we've seen, what's on the table.
Yeah, I mean, it is a pretty solid ship, and again, the U-wing is just super cool. And with Saw Gerrera on there, I mean, he's got that pivot wing, so he can sort of stop and turn on a dial, making it a little bit more unpredictable as to where it's going to go. But it is pretty cool, so it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. So you said that obviously the U-wing is your first priority then for you.
That's what I would say, but I can't remember because I can't remember how long they used to film. But
yeah,
it was. I can't remember what I remember some ideas. I think I do remember going for Saw, but whether that's true or not, I don't know.
No, that's fair enough. Like I said, sometimes these games we record them and then we play quite a few games in between before we actually manage to get them out on the channel. So obviously a lot of other things get in the way of just solid playing, recording and editing, which would be nice, but we have to make a living somehow. But yeah, I mean, I like the list we've got on the board. It's a really wide selection of Rebel ships. Some that you do see fairly often, some that you don't see as often. You don't tend to see the Ghost all that often because it can be quite a tricky one to fly well, I find.
There was that list going around which had Dash and Hera, Dash and Chopper that was going around.
Yeah, I think it would be Dash and Chopper because I'm not quite sure you could squeeze Dash and Hera.
You can fit Dash into Dash with some, I think either with nothing or with maybe like a very light Dash with Hera with advanced sensors, and with quite a good Hera build actually. It's surprising you can sort of almost fit them both.
Yeah, obviously I know the Outrider is still quite an expensive ship, but then again it has a natural 4 dice shot. Loses one of those when it gets too close, but it's still a cool ship. But yeah, I mean, like I said, the Ghost, it's an interesting one. I find it either performs really well or just gets eaten alive a little bit. It needs to get in the right positions to take advantage of that big gun and hope not to be staring down too many guns itself. Although we see that Quinn's reinforced there, which I think is a good tactic with the Ghost, trying to give it a little bit of extra survivability.
I mean, it's the one thing with Hera, especially if you put Nia Num on her, it becomes a game of colour choosing, I think. And you don't know where she's going to end up because, I mean, especially at I5, she can see where you are, and then she can go, I put this blue maneuver in. Let's change it to something else.
Yeah, let's change it to one of the 9 blues that I now have on my dial because I've got Nia Num. 8 blues because it changes the banks. But still, only 8 blues. But there's the first shot, and well, I can imagine we know what Quinn's doing there. Suppressive gunner straight away. Which again, for your Y-Wing, not ideal.
I would say not ideal, but I mean, I'd rather have it on the Y-wing than either the B-wing or the X-wing. So
Yeah, true. I mean, the Y-wing, it's your sort of, for you, I think that Y-wing is more your support ship than anything else. Yes, it's got the dorsal turret to give it an extra arc, but Dutch is there just to hand out target locks for you, really.
I don't. When it comes to the Y-wings, I always say you have to at least have R4 and a turret on it. Otherwise, why are you bringing a Y-wing?
Yeah, I think those almost need to be stapled on there because their dial isn't great. And the turret just, again, adds that extra bit to it. Dorsal turrets are really nice ones to actually have on there, I think. Ion turret is okay, but I prefer the offensiveness of the dorsal turret.
I actually like ion cannon with some bombs on there. I think I have another list which is quite similar where I've chopped Garvin for Jake and I put an ion cannon turret and a proton bomb from Dutch just to make it a bit more nasty.
Yeah, I mean bombs. I say bombs are good. Like I quite enjoy using bombs in 2.0. I think they're better than they were in 1.0 in the way that the whole system of bombing works.
Yeah, you don't have to spend an action for it anymore, which is appreciated.
Yeah. And there's just some really cool things, and I think it's just a lot more straightforward. And there's more health being chewed through on Hera there, really working that reinforce.
I think reinforcing was a good call on Quinn's side because I mean, it's not rolling any defense dice, and it's just you need it to not get eaten alive.
Yeah, especially when Hera was the only one there with potentially 4 shots coming in at her. Luckily, it looked like Braylon was out of arc there, so managing to avoid that. But especially when you've got Saw so far back, you really need Saw to get in to start supporting and trying to whittle some of those shots away as soon as possible and get that focus fire in.
Yeah, having them so spread out, it's just saying, hit me first, and I won't do anything about it.
Yeah, but I mean, now again, Quinn has the advantage that Hera is... Well, does Hera count as damage when she's lost shields, or does she need to be actually a damage card for Saw to take effect?
A damage card.
A damage card. So she's closer to that now.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, and again, we see it a lot from Quinn. He will put himself into positions to trigger certain abilities from certain pilots. He's not afraid to do that. I've seen him do some crazy things just to trigger a certain ability, and you sort of look at it and you're like, what are you doing? That's crazy. And then suddenly you're like, oh, okay, now I see what you're doing. I don't like this so much anymore.
No.
So I think he's one of the few people I know that will intentionally damage his ships to trigger an ability. Although when it comes to damaging ships to trigger ability, I think that's still the best one we've ever had on the channel was Connor electing not to spend a focus to allow one of his Z95s to die because it had Deadman Switch and caused a lot of damage. And that was actually against Quinn, and that was next level play. I was like, you know what? That was brutal, so scummy, so good.
I mean, I'm not a scum player, and I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Deadman Switch, but if you can spam it on something like a Z95, you feel good when it happens.
Well, I mean, he had it on 4 Z95s in that list, and I think he triggered 3 of them. And it worked really well. Oh, and that is a very sneaky barrel roll there.
Oh, it is as well.
Only just fitting onto the board.
Well,
I mean, either way, you would have got the stress, which would have been good for you, but it allows you a bit more space then for Dutch and Garvin to move up. Looks like we're going to get a barrel roll from 10 as well. Essentially setting up a firing line there.
I mean, the one thing I like about Braylon is Braylon, by his own self, can do focus into a red barrel roll and have two mods technically with the stress and the focus. And 10 can do the same if he has the configuration.
Yeah. I mean, I really like these B-Wings. I've flown a not too dissimilar list to this a good while back. It was 10, Brennan. I think I had Jake, and I did have a Y-Wing, but I can't, it was that long ago, I can't remember which Y-Wing I took. But it was quite similar to that, really utilising that stress mechanic that Braylon and 10 have, which I just think is just a really good mechanic, really utilises the almost lack of manoeuvrability of those B-Wings, as it were.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think they may be slow, but they can barrel roll and be quite unpredictable. So
yeah. I mean, you look at their dial and they've got a good range of moves, but it's how many of those moves are red, which is the difficulty with them. But again, with 10 and Braylon, they really strike, like they thrive on that. I mean, you've got the one talon roll on there. I mean, that's just rude.
Oh, definitely. I think the one, you can even argue that the 2 K-turn is a bit rude. It's not as rude, but they can end up anywhere and get mods. So
yeah.
They're fun.
And back in the day when Leia was a staple in a rebel list, you'd just be like, all right, well, I'm going to do a 1 talon roll, then I'm going to focus, and I'm going to try and barrel roll. Oh no, I failed my barrel roll. It's okay. And it was hilarious back in the day.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
But that is a lot of target locks that you have currently on Hera there. So looks like you're definitely trying to get rid of her.
I mean, you could say that, but I think
I mean, it's obviously with that
the biggest threat with 95 points. I mean,
oh yeah, you take her out. That's a huge chunk of points you get there. But also, I mean, you look at it. Dutch is there facing straight down at her, so it makes sense that you're going to target lock there because that's the best shot Dutch is going to get.
I think.
Ooh.
I think
it was
Dutch
a good
was
shot.
More of a
block.
I pushed him forward so he could sort of go for the bump just in case.
That wasn't a deploy there of Sabine. For some reason, Sabine just fell off the base. Interesting. But that's actually... But luckily, obviously, for Quinn, he had the advanced sensor, so he was able to do that reinforced prior. And now, is that a range 1 shot I saw? No. Yes, range 1 shot.
It does look like a range 1 shot into Garvin.
That's not so... Yeah, that's not too bad.
Oh, okay, could have been worse.
Yeah, he could have had a focus in there. Ooh, that's still not great. So that's both shields gone there on Garvin. It's a good job you had that focus because that early crit would have been quite bad.
I mean, and it does allow me to pass the focus to one of the B-Wings, which is quite nice.
Yeah. And that's Garvin's ability, isn't it? So after you spend a focus token, you may choose 1 friendly ship at range 1. That ship gains 1 focus token. So,
yeah, I think Garvin's it's just a good X-Wing pilot. If you bring him with a bunch of other things, you don't even need to put any upgrades on it. If you just put him, maybe even an R4 astromech if you have the points for it, or hopeful now, because hopeful could be quite good if he land the boost, or if he's in a sticky situation like he bumped or whatnot, he can get the focus somehow. And he can just hand out focuses after he gets shot or he shoots and needs to spend it, which I just think is a great ability.
Yeah, I mean, he really plays into that whole rebel aspect. I mean, Garvin and Dutch on your list are like the quintessential rebel pilots, handing out target locks, handing out focuses. I mean, you're only missing having Jake in there, and it's literally you have this token, you have this token, you have this token.
Just share everything.
Yeah. So, I mean, that is very much how the Rebels fly. I like it. It's a very distinct faction identity there, so it's good to see.
Yeah, I think it's definitely the teamwork faction, to say the least.
Yeah. I mean, as opposed to, say, you look at Separatists with Treacherous, and you look at Empire with Ruthless, and they're just like, yeah, you take a damage so that I can shoot better, or so that I don't have to. I mean, I know you've got it with Selfless, but that's slightly different. That's not, I'm going to force you to take it. That's it's all right, mate, I've got your back.
Yeah, I think it's a very distinct archetype, and man, I wish Garvin had a focus for that role, but yeah.
That would have been nice there. But now you've got 10 numb with a target lock and a focus.
And a stress.
And a stress. Wow,
keep all of them. All of them on.
The only way you could mod anything else is if you somehow managed to get the force on him.
I mean, it's not impossible anymore because you have Ezra on a beam now.
Yeah, true. So that's the stress there. Are you going to use the target lock? No, not using the target lock. Oh, that'll be so you can use the auto blast. I'm assuming.
Get the S4s off. And I think if I get some crits, that would be quite nice. I'm not sure Hera had me in arc, so.
Yeah, to be honest, I've got the S4s, but I haven't actually got around to using them yet. Okay,
I think they're great.
Yeah, I mean, they are really good. I think I was a little bit disappointed that they were 2 points. I was kind of hoping they were going to be 0 or 1, but I think with what you can do with them, it makes sense that you have to pay for them.
I mean, you can take them without any cannons, and they're still pretty good because they give you the link to the red target lock, which is still good.
I mean, linked actions they're generally really handy. I still think some of the best linked actions is if you've got the TIE Brute with expert handling and the targeting assist, because it basically makes every single action on his bar white, including the links, which is just hilarious.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I think it's the only ship that has a linked action that is white, unless you include epic ships, which can if you want, but
they don't count because they get the double actions.
Yeah, they can have the reactions if they want.
Yeah. So a lot more health being taken off Hera there. Not quite at half points yet because of the bump with Dutch, but still very, very close.
Not far away from half points, but I think now she's in a good position to either do the 4K turn or just be annoying.
Yeah. I mean, it is an interesting one. I mean, would you try and anticipate the 4K and then try and keep her in arc, maybe with those B-wings, or although saying that Brayden can't do a K or a hard because he's still stressed.
So I think that the fact that Brayden can't doesn't really matter because he can just do it one or two. I think he can do a one bang and have a decent shot on Saw.
Yeah. So I mean, do you then try and anticipate that K turn, or are you now concentrate on Saw for a little bit? What do you think would be your plan of action right now?
I mean, we're in a jab situation, so I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if I just went into Saw for a round and then just went back to Hera. But I also wouldn't be surprised if, say, Garvin did a 4K turn and the Y-Wing did the same.
Yeah. I mean, look at it. I'm not sure with that 4K. It's hard to see because you can't quite see where the base of the ghost is, but I don't know if a 4K would fit there for Garvin, unfortunately. The Y-Wing, for Dutch, it definitely would, but Garvin might be a little bit stuck.
I mean, Dutch could fit it because, I mean, a 4K easily get past Hera. Garvin is the interesting one. I mean, to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if, Sabine got launched now. I mean, anything can happen. Oh, well, there's Sabine.
It's almost like you remembered that moment, so that throws a little bit of a spanner in the works there.
Well, I think I wasn't expecting her to come out yet, and the fact that she was And the fact that she gives strain to Braylon isn't great either, but I guess I already planned to do a blue maneuver, so I'm guessing it didn't matter as much. I think my stay was a funny thing. I don't know if I like it or if I just feel it's a bit. Yeah. And on some ships, it could be quite good, like a dedicated support ship that needs to have this bubble of help. And if it has to go through an asteroid or an obstacle, I think it doesn't matter. But like a fighter or like say I don't know, a tri-fighter would not. No.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's one of those upgrades that has its place. I mean, it can be useful, but you're right. I think it's better on those support ships and larger ships that can take it to really benefit from that. Oh, that's interesting. I'm not sure.
Do you want to?
Oh, Sword's already moved, so yeah, so still having him an arc there. Oh, there's the 4K term from Dutch.
I'm guessing Braylon did the one forward and then just did another barrel roll. Just staying close to that board edge.
Yeah, he's just shimmying up that board edge and just being like, you know what? I'm going to show you how I do the two-step there.
I think it's the one forward to victory, just, you know.
Oh, yeah. It's the Rebels' way of winning.
Yeah.
So...
Guessing Braylon didn't commit all the way with the 1K and did a 1 hard instead.
Yeah. Which I think is quite good because it then... It reacts to both, like, if Hera does decide to K or if Hera just decides to bug out, it's a good reaction. You can still counteract that a little bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting one. I mean, you've still got potentially 2 guns in on Hera when she finally does her move. But you've also got 2 guns that could go into Saw or try and take out Sabine.
I think what Quinn's done, I think he's put a red maneuver and he's just deciding which one he wants to do.
Yeah.
Which I think
so cheeky.
I think Hera's ability I've always underestimated, and I don't know why. I always preferred her as I think I prefer a new ability to her old ability, but that's just because it's just a very, very good support ability. But yeah, I still think her old ability should be something that's overlooked, and there's the 4K.
Yeah, there's the 4, and a 4K on a big ship like that. It's kind of like the Shadowcaster, where it just does that K-turn. You're like, you know what, I wasn't expecting that.
I mean, the Sith Infrared has 5K, so I mean...
Yeah. Like, on a large ship like that, and there we go, so Saw is in range. So that does mean that Hera gets her reroll there.
So many arcs on the table at once.
Yeah. So let's see who she's going to go with. To be honest, I think if it was me, I'd go into Garvin.
Yeah, just pop an X-Wing.
Yeah, I mean, you've got 2 ships that can focus fire Garvin down. I know he's not as expensive. Or does he go for 10? Both range 2.
The thing is, 10 has a mod.
Yeah.
And you're going for a mod or extra dice.
I think it's still the same amount of dice. It's the amount of evade dice you've got. So you'd have 3 evade dice on 10 and 2. 1 evade dice on 10 and 2 on Garvin. Although having that suppressive gunner there on the X-wing,
isn't great.
Yeah.
I'm just going to keep taking the deplete. I mean, you're going to keep taking the deplete, but I mean that's still annoying if you're, say, a two dice attack ship, or even a 3 dice going from 3 to 2 isn't great.
Yeah. So I think Quinn just remembered the reroll there from Saw. And it was still the same outcome overall.
Lucky green die.
So that wasn't too bad, but now you've got Saw coming back in as well, so that's another 3 dice shot. I mean, I bet Quinn right now wishes it was a deplete rather than a strain. Oh no, the strain's still the best one. Yeah, strain's still the best.
It's still a deplete. It's a deplete, not a strain. Oh, on
Yeah,
the person who has a strain is was Braylon,
yeah.
the Marge Sable potion.
So is he still going into Garvin there? Yes, he is. Well, that's
Yeah,
unfortunate.
That's
That's not the dice you want there.
that's. I think if he didn't bump into Sabine, that would have been a fairly decent shot.
I think it's one of Quinn's things where he sometimes forgets. He's mentioned this a few times. He'll dial in a move and go, "Oh, that's a really great move," and then he forgets that other ships still have to move first.
Yeah, I think that's something we all do. And
Yeah,
is that a range one shot from Braylon?
that looks like it's a range one shot from Braylon. Spending that focus, that's good. That's good.
That's painful. Four hits going into that. I think that evade dice roll was also pretty bad, giving sword damage card.
Yeah, I mean that's
on the bright side. It triggers his ability, so
Yeah,
what we said earlier with just sacrificing ships. Maybe that was the plan.
Absolutely, and I mean obviously that's now half points for you there. Oh no, not quite. Still one away from half points. It's that hull upgrade that keeps throwing it.
Yeah, it just don't. I think both Hera and Saul have hull upgrades. So.
Yeah. There's the half points now on Hera.
Yep.
And that's a loose stabilizer as well for her. That's not a great one for her.
I mean, she has the dial flexibility to go either the 1 or the 2, but
yeah, but it means she's going to probably want to spend a turn to repair that because I don't think she's going to want to take a damage. I mean, admittedly, doing a 1 forward next turn probably isn't going to be a bad thing.
I mean, he's got stress because of the K turn, but green dice aren't anyone's friends today.
No, they're really not. So that is now half points on Saw as well. I mean, green dice are just horrendous, though. They will betray you so often. I mean, I've seen Quinn roll 6 green dice and not get a single result. So it just goes to show you how bad they are sometimes.
I think I did do the math for it. And I think if you're rolling 4 green dice, it's only 2. It's under 2% that you get 4 blanks. But ironically, that's the most common thing you see when you roll 4 green dice.
Oh yeah, I think the more green dice you have, the more chance you have of like just rolling all blanks. And only the resistance like that when they've got heroic.
Yeah, fortunately.
So I mean that was quite a devastating turn.
Funny if they rolled 4 green dice and then just got 4 blanks and they re-rolled again into another 4 blanks. So
I've seen close. I've seen 3 blanks into 3 blanks, which I mean that's quite painful when you do that. You're just there like, oh well, I know it was only like a 1 or 2 point upgrade, but what was the point there?
I've seen someone fire proton torpedoes, 4 blanks, but then spend the target lock into another 4 blanks.
Yeah.
And that's a 12-point investment just gone down the drain.
Yeah, that's hurts. That really does hurt. I mean, that's sometimes what you have to expect. I mean, half of X-Wing is a dice game. So it's the strategy of getting your ships in the right place. And you could have your ships in the absolute best place. But if your dice turn around and say, nope, not today, then, well, you've kind of got to accept that.
I mean, I'd like to fly lists that sort of mitigate the odds. Like I have Braylon to pass Focus and I have Dutch to pass Lock. So if I get blank, Dutch is there, and if I have Focus, Garvin's there.
Yeah.
But you can still, it doesn't matter how many rerolls you have, you can still just get into more blanks.
Yeah. I mean, you can go blank to a focus, which isn't brilliant. So that's 2 damage there going through on Braylon. But I mean, overall, again, that was a good turn for you there. Garvin managed to survive, which was
somehow
unexpected.
I think I was quite lucky to get half points on Hera and have Garvin come out still alive.
Yeah, I mean,
I also getting quite close to half points on Saw, so I mean, have I already got half points?
You've got half points on Saw now.
Oh, okay,
it's half points on Saw and half points on Hera. Sabine is the only healthy one over there. Quinn's is 1 away from half points on Braylon, 2 away on Dutch, and 10 is just sat there right in the middle of everyone going, "Look at me, I'm still all good." No one wants to mess with me.
That's just the B-Wing motto. Look at me, I'm still good.
Yeah.
I think we have Saw just coming in just to get some more damage out.
Yeah, he's just being that aggressive rebel. And is that that was a bump there. That's the 3rd bump that the 2nd bump Garvin's done in this game. Ooh, I like that K-turn there from 10, because that is most likely going to have a big impact on Hera. I mean, she's got advanced sensors, but... Oh, and looks like there's going to be a few target locks all going into Saw, so I think I know where your next few shots are going to be.
Well, I mean, you can never turn down a good range 1 shot and a good shot from a B-Wing, so...
Yeah. Are you able to... would a barrel roll fit in that gap just behind Sabine there? I don't think it would.
I doubt it.
If it did, that'd be hilarious. Like, it'd be... going out instead, just taking a turn to reset with Braylon there.
I'm guessing it's probably more just to get out of the way and then do a hard turn in.
Yeah.
And get a good shot on Hera or Saw.
Yeah, I think that seems like a good option there at this point. I mean, if you're stuck in there, it would kind of... You'd be not leaving much space for Garvin to play with in the next round. 10's in a good position. I mean, he's not really bothered. He'll probably get rid of that stress in the next round of shooting anyway.
Probably, yeah.
And there's the bump from Hera. As we kind of
giving
expected.
her more 5-dice shots on Garvin, but okay.
Yeah. Let's see if she could actually take Garvin out this time. 5 dice, range 1, 5-dice shot with a reroll from Saw.
This should be interesting.
Did Quinn do an advance? Oh, no, he couldn't advance it. He was stressed, yeah. Well, I bet he's glad he's got a reroll there for Saw. Suppressive gunner.
No surprise there.
3 hits.
That's 3.
That's not bad.
Taking my defeat.
Oh, that's 2, so Garvin does still live.
5 on 1. That's...
I bet that's a bit frustrating for Quinn, actually, because he's got nothing else that can take it out now. Because obviously Saw is bumped.
I get my shot on Sabine, and I think that's all that matters.
Yeah. And Sabine also does not have a shot because of the way her arc is. She'll miss 10.
The annoying thing with Sabine is also she hasn't been able to use her ability, which she's been stressed.
Yeah.
So yeah, like into the 10.
So
green dice being green dice, and I just take the 2.
To be honest, you've got a lot of health on there anyway, so
doesn't
I don't
matter.
think you're overly bothered at that point.
No, not particularly.
So now it's time for you to return some fire. So let's see, going into Sabine, range 1. I don't even know why I said it with any form of hesitancy. That's clearly range 1.
Yeah,
Just
the one.
Just the one. That's a shame. Nothing else there to... Oh, and the green dice have finally decided to turn up.
Yeah. Just go above and beyond. Just get the extra one.
Yeah. Tell, it's a shame you didn't have more guns facing Hera right now. Where she was stressed and not able to get that reinforce is literally whatever you do goes through. But I think you're taking the opportunity to just go straight in on Saw once you got the range 1 and the target lock.
Spend the target lock. Reroll them both.
Hit crit.
That'll do.
That will do. It'll spend the focus. I'm assuming it'll spend the focus to.
I mean, you've got nothing else to spend it on.
Yeah, nothing else is shooting at you, so. Oh no, sorry, 10 will still be shooting at him. Did he just take them both?
He's taking them both.
He took them both. Interesting. And and a fuel leak on there on the last one. That is interesting. He's definitely left himself in a bad position there.
There's 2 shots coming in from
10, yeah.
10. That could be with a mod and a lock. So
yeah,
could be interesting.
So that's 2 hits.
Oh, and spending the lock just
spending the lock.
Reroll.
3 hits. Okay. And that risk paid off.
Well, it doesn't matter. He's dead anyway.
Yeah. So bye Saw Gerrera.
And he's gone.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one ship off the table.
Yeah, that's one ship down. I mean, I know we mentioned it earlier that you said you'd probably want to try and get that Ewing out first. And I think it was more just because of target of opportunity rather than necessarily planning that, because you'd obviously done a lot of damage on Hera, but it definitely does benefit you in that now Hera loses access to that reroll.
I think the main thing, that getting rid of Saw was quite important, because Hera probably going to be focusing on the reinforce rather than going for a focus or a target lock. So I think that's why Saw making the 5 dice more consistent is a bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think again you're in a good position just to really stop Hera moving around. I mean, she could do that 4K, but I'm pretty sure. Now here's a question: loose stabilizer. 4K, does that still class as a straight maneuver?
No, because the picture's not straight in my opinion.
In your opinion,
I think
okay.
You may use the straightforward movement template, but I think it's because the picture or the icon.
Yeah. And it's not a basic maneuver either.
No.
Okay. Yeah, so you've got the picture on there. I mean, if anyone wants to help clarify that in the comments, please feel free. It'd be interesting to get your opinions, but I think I agree with you on there, Fergus. So given the positionings there and the fact that it's got the loose stabilizer, you can almost guarantee, well, it's Quinn, he could do anything. You can almost guarantee that Hera's going to be doing some form of straight maneuver. So you can easily get yourself in a position to block that.
After you do the non-straight, does it heal itself?
No, you actually, I'm pretty sure. Oh yeah, it does repair itself after the first non-straight, so it doesn't stick around. But at this point where you're guaranteeing 2 guns at least, probably 3 guns, depending on where Dutch goes, do you really want to do a non-straight to put yourself down to 6 health? I think that's definitely a recipe for disaster there. Oh, and that dorsal turret I've just noticed is to the Y-Wing's ship left. So that looks like we're going to be having at least 3 attacks in on Hera.
I mean, it depends. If Hera could do 3 straight, could get her past at least one shot.
I don't think so. I think the back of that template, the back of the Y-Wing's base might stop a 3 straight.
The 4 straight's red, isn't it? Or...
the 4 straight is white.
Okay.
So it's good in a straight line.
That's, most ships are nowadays.
Yeah. So taking that reinforced, not worrying about the loose stabilizer. 1 straight looks like dialed in. Making the decision whether to keep it as a 1 straight. I think.
I would keep as a 1 straight and just go for the bump and just.
No. Oh no! Cleared it.
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. I still think I would have. I don't know. Say about clearing loose stabilizer. I think I'd have advanced since it's cleared loose stabilizer and then tried to maybe get out and reposition. But again, it's difficult to reposition a Ghost. I know that obviously with Hera, she's got pretty solid access on her dial, but still.
I think with the Ghost, I think Hera's ability is the reposition.
Yeah. So are we going in on? Are we going in on Braylon or are we going in on?
She only had Braylon.
Yeah. So 2 hits. No, taking out Garvin. So it must have been just inside range 2. So it looked like it was going to be clipping range 3 there to me. But taking out Garvin, some solid points there on the board for Quinn now.
Oh, definitely. I think Garvin was one of the pilots I quite enjoyed flying in that game. So shame to get him off the table, but I got used to his ability and just the X-wings.
Yeah, I think the advantage for Quinn right now is that Braden doesn't have a target lock or any way to mod, but then again he has just put 2 damage through. So
I think Braden does have a target lock. I think Dutch gave him one.
Ah, right, okay. Probably just hidden under the base there, then, is it?
Just a massive model of the Ghost.
Yeah. So that is some more damage, 2 more damage into Hera.
Was it 1 more because it's got reinforced?
Oh yeah, reinforced just 1 more.
Again, hiding with the tokens underneath the model.
Yeah. So we've got the target lock, so you are going to get that auto blasters off as well.
Oh, that shot was from the Y-Wing.
That makes so much more sense.
Y-Wing spent the target lock.
Yeah.
Rerolls with Braden's ability.
So 1 more damage, so that should be down to 5 now. I know the overlay is saying 6, but I'm pretty sure that that's slightly wrong at this point.
I think I agree with it with 6, but I could be wrong.
Yeah.
And 3 dice could have got it in the bullseye.
Yeah. Oh, this is going to be nasty.
I think I've lost track of every shot. I now think this is the Y-Wing.
I think this is the Y-Wing, yeah. I think that was a double tap from 10.
Double tap from 10. No, Braylon into... Braylon into the Ghost. Now we're into range 1.
That reinforces really, saving Hera there.
Yeah.
She would be dead now if it wasn't for that reinforce.
Probably.
Now, how much damage can 10 do? to Sabine here. Quite a lot by the look of it. That's 2 hits and 2 crits.
Oh, at least she's got the evade.
Oh, she's got the evade, so that's just... So that shield upgrade is definitely...
Worth it.
Worth it there. Oh, that would have been so scary if that had actually gone through.
Would have been quite funny, to be honest. But
Probably, yeah, it would have been hilarious.
2 crits into a ship that's nimble and small would have been quite funny.
Yeah, because you know it would have been something crazy like a loose stabilizer and a panic pilot or something.
To give it all the stress.
Yeah, loose stabilizer and panic pilot when it's facing the wrong way to be like, okay, so I may as well just do a non-straight maneuver and get rid of it. Self-sacrifice. But I mean, right now, you're in a pretty good position. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah, probably. I think unless Hera and Sabine's dice just go crazy, and mine just go downhill. But
yeah, I mean, with what you've got, the consistency there, the target locks that Dutch can hand out. I mean, what are we looking at there? Oh, see if we can redock.
Oh yeah.
I think that's just outside that range 1 bubble. Why would you read?
Probably to try and get the locked and loaded ability off. So after Hera, do a front shot, do a back one as well.
Yeah, I mean,
and keep Sabine alive.
Yeah. I didn't expect that from Ted, actually. I thought you were going to turn around.
I think he had a stress. No, I don't know. Yeah, I had a stress token, or was thinking Sabine was going to be a bit more.
Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, Dutch has got a nice shot there. He's either got his range 1 primary or range 1 dorsal onto... Yeah, you can do either onto Sabine there, so... But getting those target locks ready onto Hera for later.
I mean, it's probably the key thing of Dutch is just hand out locks as fast as possible and make the others spend it so they can get use out of it.
I mean, yeah, it's almost like he's got inbuilt Esther tracers without having to actually roll dice for it. It's quite nice.
Yeah, it's guaranteed.
I'm not going to lie, if I could get that on other ships, I'd probably be like, yeah, that's amazing.
I mean, I guess Tarkin can do something quite similar, but his is an assistance phase, which has its own merit because you can see afterwards what people are doing. But
yeah. Oh. What's he doing? What is Quinn doing there?
Maneuver is good question.
Straight maneuver.
Just
okay.
Why get shot when you can not get shot?
And I'm trying to see. It's hard to tell with the way he's got his cards, but I think he might have flipped over loose stabilizer at this point.
I think he has.
Which I think this is the point that you definitely have to do it because, well, Hera needs to turn herself around. She's facing the wrong way.
I think that's why he was wanting her to be in the Sabine to be docked in, so he can at least get a shot out the back.
Yeah. So I think Quinn's just checking through what shots he's got as to what he wants to take. So
the simple answer is nothing, but
yeah.
Range 3 shot from Brayden into Sabine could be interesting.
Yep. Oh, just 1 more damage. So 2 evades there. So that is half points on Sabine as well.
Can Dutch finish it off? Is the big question.
Yeah, I think the best option there is to range one, finish off Sabine.
Ooh,
Oh, that target lock's in the wrong place right now.
2 on the nose.
But because that's 10's target lock there, because Dutch decided to target lock Hera for later. Let's see. Oh, those evades are coming out at the sneakiest of times.
Yeah, both 2 evades, great.
And unfortunately, no shot there from Sabine, just outside, out of arc there with Braylon.
Back to dials. This is going to be an interesting one. Now, I'm wondering if now's a good time to have 10 do the 1 talon roll.
I think so.
And easiest way, shortest just way to get back into combat.
Yeah, I think 10 do the 1 talon roll. You get Dutch. Does he have the 1 hard?
Yeah.
The Y-wing?
The Y-wings don't. They have 2. It's best
2.
to have.
Okay, a 2 hard on the Y-wing because Sabine's going to be moved out of the way. Keeps you in range as well with the dorsal turret. Braylon's in a bit of an awkward position. I think if I was Braylon, I think I might just try and self-bump, knowing that Sabine is probably going to be in front of you.
I think it's best call, but...
I mean, it's best call in hindsight, but
yeah,
in the heat of the moment, sometimes you want to just be like, no, I want to do something crazy. Like, I'll do a 3 hard to the left to try and make sure that I can turn around later and have
he is stressed at the moment, so it does limit his options.
Yeah.
But a 3 hard would be interesting.
I mean, left or right? Left would put you right in front of that rock. Right would have you facing the bottom of the board. But I think at the moment you're probably in a good position to take out Sabine. I doubt she's going to be around much longer. Hera might just have to wait a little bit.
Yeah, maybe. Just keep checking.
Yeah,
no, it's not going to happen.
Keep checking, Quinn. No, nowhere near.
Well, now he is, but I mean, it happens in systems.
Yeah. It's a really awkward one to try and redock a ship. Because you've got to get, obviously, in standard play, this is the only one that... Well, no, this and the Lando Falcon, because the Lando Falcon can redock the escape craft, can't it?
So I thought everything can redock if it's at range 0.
Yeah, but I was thinking in standard play, obviously the only ships that have the docking capability is the Ghost and Lando's Falcon.
And the Houndstooth.
No, the Ashtar Pup is an emergency escape craft. You can't.
Not if you have Bosk. You can have Bosk redocked in.
Okay. Interesting.
If you have Bosk in the Headhunter as a pilot.
Was that the one that came in the
Hot Shot and Aces?
Hot Shots and Aces, yes. Okay, so it looks like we actually called we called 10 and Dutch right. Braylon did the 2 hard by the look of it. So let's see.
I mean, you were quite close with the 3 hard, to be honest. So
yeah, I was not too far off there. So I like that. I like that 2 hard. It's not a terrible move. Okay.
He's just going to brute force it.
He's just going to brute force it, double stress himself. Does he crit himself, though? This is the question. He does not.
He's fine.
So, yeah, brute force it over there and just be like, you know what? Who cares?
I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, to be honest, I wasn't actually expecting it either.
I'm not sure anyone was. Comment below. If comment below say, I was expecting that, and we'll know what you're talking about.
Yeah. Ooh,
I mean, that does remind me, did we conclude the Han and Han debate in the last when we were talking about the Prince I6 list?
No, that was never actually... No one even commented on that, I'm afraid. But then again, it's difficult to try and actually equate how you spell it.
And it's not the same.
Yeah, but I mean, it's Han.
I always say Han.
Or is it? Oh no! Now you've got me thinking about it again. And there's nothing worse than when you're trying to think about how something is said, to then forget how you say it.
I think in Solo they say it's Han, but then Lando always says Han.
Yeah, but that's because it's Lando, and Lando likes to add his own take on everything. Like the one person that would watch The Incredibles and say, "No, capes are cool. Capes are okay."
It's probably Lando.
Yeah, but I say it's Han. It's Han Solo.
I would say Han. I don't know why. And that looks like Sabine.
Looks like a dead Sabine.
That's a dead Sabine.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what you wanted. Yeah, sorry, Quinn. I think this game's a foregone conclusion now. So I don't think there's any way, unless you suddenly decided to fly like an absolute idiot, I don't think there's any way that Quinn is going to be able to pull this back. I mean, it's possible.
It's not impossible.
Yeah. I mean, I know that I could manage it. I mean, I flew 3 Phantoms straight down the teeth of 3 X-Wings. And we saw how that went.
Oh, I mean, you did it good. You did some damage into Luke, and then it somehow came back. So I mean,
it somehow came back, not through the specific mechanics that you deliberately put on there to do that.
I mean, it's a great idea.
Oh, it's just brutal. It's just There's a couple of combinations where you put on munitions with the full intention of never shooting them because you're going to use them to get back shields or get back charges, and it's just like
or rerolls,
and you're like, you know what, that's brilliant, but it's also really annoying.
I mean, I have actually used ion torpedoes. I think there's a Malik Steele who was at range 3, and I was like, well, I'll just ion torpedo you and then just have the X-Wing just close in on you next turn.
Yeah. I mean, it gives you that flexibility though, doesn't it? It gives you that flexibility of bringing those shields back to get you over half, but also you might be there like, you know what, actually, it might be a really good idea to use an ion torpedo. And
flexibility is always great.
Yeah. I mean, how many points was that chopper and the ion torpedoes? It's not that many.
It's 6 points.
And how much is an R2 astromech? They're like 8 or something, aren't they?
R2 astromech's like 10, I think. Yes. R2D2's 10.
Yeah.
It's just based on initiative. They're just
So yeah, it's a more cost-effective way of doing it and gives you more flexibility in there as well. Ooh, Braylon's just going on a little jaunt off the top of the board, sort of looking at it going, no one's been up here yet. Is there anything happening up here?
You check out the gas cloud,
Yeah. We've got Dutch swinging himself around. Yeah. A nice wide firing line to catch Hera almost wherever she goes. Oh, no, bringing his head in. Yeah. I'll take a stress, please. Check for that target lock. That's fine. You don't get the target lock.
I get the stress.
You still get a stress.
Oh yeah, that lock was staring wrong. So.
Yeah.
May as well. Ooh, going for the debris cloud.
Nice. I mean, that debris cloud's done you all right, actually. Double stressing Hera.
Ooh. Hera just wants to get rid of Braylon, to be honest.
Hera really doesn't care, does she? So, clear a stress because of blue maneuver, regain a stress because of going over the debris.
I'm not sure if she went over the debris, or would have gone red. Was that just...
I'm not sure. I didn't...
Ooh.
I think I missed it. It's hard to tell. It flashed up red for such a small time. But look at that. 2 evades on a B-wing. It's nice. You don't see that often. Ooh, that's a good roll. And that's Braylon down. That was a very good roll. So not going to be checking out the rest of the top of that board there.
Yeah, shame. I mean, bound to happen. I mean,
5 dice coming in. Yeah, it was.
You can have all the rerolls and you're just 5 dice you're gone.
Yeah, I mean, you were gonna take at least 2 there. So, so Dutch, a crit.
Reroll.
Spending his focus, so
Spend
that's
everything now.
Hit crit. And the crit is a fuel leak. Oh, that's not good.
Now, does 10 have a shot, and would this shot be the final one?
I think 10 does have a shot.
It was range 2, so no green dice.
Oh, this is... Are we going to say goodbye, good night to Hera?
Ooh.
Oh.
Quick answer, no.
No.
Survives on one.
Just recounting the multitude of cards there.
And including the hollow grade.
Yeah, no, looks like that was it.
Well.
So, as we said, the overlay was 1 out. But yeah, that is game there. Full 200 points in your favour there, Fergus.
I mean, it couldn't have gone any better, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, that was a pretty good game for you there. And I mean, I think Quinn still flew that pretty well. He flew Hera very aggressively towards the end there, which I quite liked.
I mean, I think it became less try not to kill them, more how many points can I get rid of on your side and just have fun, which is the important thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, fun is the main aspect of this, and part of the reason we've done the Commentator Wars is just to actually get us all together and have some regular games, which I've quite liked.
I just try the backlog of lists and stuff we haven't got yet. I mean, I think Quinn has almost 100 lists he hasn't flown yet. So
yeah, he has a bit of a list addiction, so he does need to go to some form of rehab for that.
Right, yeah.
But anyway, let's have a look then, see how it's looking. So that, as we said, is game 6. So you've now racked up your 2nd win of the tournament and a very solid win there. 4 more games to go. I think Quinn has 1 game left. So yeah, there's a couple of us with 1 game left. And the table, well, I think you know how this is going to read, don't you, Fergus?
I mean, I'm quite happy with that.
Yeah, you're quite a sizable lead there at the top. So 3 games played, 2 won, 1 lost, but with 800 points MOV. It's looking pretty good.
Good round number.
Yeah. Seeing myself at the bottom there, I've got a little bit of work to do there, I think, to pull that back.
Good bit of catch up. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, I've got 2 games left, so I should be okay.
Right, I've only got 1 left. I mean,
yeah, I think you're okay. I think you're going to make it into the knockout stage.
Unless I get completely creeped, which would be quite funny.
I mean, it would be hilarious. Revenge for the Phantoms.
100%.
But yeah, so I think what we'll do there, I think we're going to obviously end the video. But Fergus, again, thank you very much for an enjoyable game to watch and coming along to commentate.
No worries, it's great playing and great commentating as well. Thanks for having me.
Excellent, no worries, and we'll see you again soon on there. But guys, again, thank you very much for watching. Like I said, we've still got 4 more games of the group stages to come. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, click that notification bell, and also like the videos for the YouTube algorithm. But we will see you next time.